The South China Sea just got a new visitor, and it did not come quietly. Fresh satellite imagery has spotted the USS Nimitz carrier strike group moving through disputed waters, like a steel giant crashing a backyard party hosted by China. And this is no casual cruise. It is a message, big, loud, and nuclear-powered. For months, China has been pressuring its neighbors, especially the Philippines, claiming nearly the entire South China Sea as its personal domain. It is like someone drawing a huge circle over the entire neighborhood and saying, "All of this is mine. Please leave." Nobody agreed. China ignored them anyway. Now, the United States has returned to say, "Move. We are parking here." Satellite photos from the European Space Agency show the USS Nimitz, one of America's most powerful aircraft carriers, sailing alongside at least 5 warships southeast of Second Thomas Shoal, a flashpoint, where Chinese and Philippine vessels have been playing bumper boats for months. This is not some random military cruise. It is Carrier Strike Group 11, a floating war empire. The USS Nimitz, at least 4 Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, and the Ticonderoga-class cruiser USS Princeton. Together, they bring dozens of F/A-18 jets, anti-submarine aircraft, ballistic missile defense systems, and enough firepower to make Poseidon nervous. This is not a boat trip. This is a mobile airbase, with destroyers playing bodyguards. So why now? Because tensions with China are rising fast. China claims almost the entire South China Sea, using a line that looks like it was drawn by someone who dropped their pen and let gravity decide. That claim overlaps with the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, where Manila has every right to fish, drill, and sail. China's response has been simple: no. This is ours. They have built artificial islands, constructed military runways, parked Coast Guard ships everywhere, fired water cannons at Philippine vessels, and even rammed supply boats. It is like China read the rule book and said, "Cute. We are doing what we want." But the Philippines is a US treaty ally. And, when you bully a US ally, the United States shows up. Washington reportedly ordered a show of force to signal that China's moves have been noted and will not go unanswered. Imagine China yelling in the neighborhood, and suddenly a 100,000-ton aircraft carrier rolls up like, "Is there a problem here?" Second Thomas Shoal, the hotspot of this latest move, is a dramatic setting. In 1999, the Philippines deliberately grounded an old rusty ship there, the BRP Sierra Madre, and stationed Marines on it to stake territorial rights. It is basically a decaying warship doubling as a national flag, and a very stubborn Airbnb. China has been trying to push it out ever since. Now, with the Nimitz only 130 miles away, China's problem just got bigger. Let's break down what is at stake. The South China Sea is a crucial region. It is a fishing superzone, rich in oil and gas, and an essential shipping lane. 1/5 of global trade passes through it every year. That is trillions of dollars. If war breaks out here, global shipping takes a major hit. It is the economic heartbeat of Southeast Asia, and China is pressing its thumb on the pulse. The United States knows the stakes. That is why the Nimitz group is here, with enough weapons to make half the planet nervous. Arleigh Burke destroyers are missile-hunting beasts. They can launch tomahawks that hit targets hundreds of miles away. Perfect for saying, "Hey Beijing, nice navy. Be a shame if something happened." The USS Princeton, a Ticonderoga-class cruiser, is the quarterback of missile defense. Its Aegis radar can track anything from drones to ballistic missiles. Together, this group is an Air Force, Navy, missile base, and warning message, all floating on water. Meanwhile, China's military continues expanding nearby. Coast Guard ships block Philippine vessels, Chinese militia swarm reefs. Navy destroyers shadow shipping lanes. Air patrols buzz contested zones. Their civilian fishing boats? More like floating spies with fishing nets for decoration. Beijing's message is clear: this is ours. The Nimitz's message is equally clear: no. It is not. Now we have an unstoppable force, meeting an immovable object, but on water, with jets overhead. If things go sideways, Second Thomas Shoal could become the next flashpoint of the decade. Imagine Chinese ships ramming a Philippine boat. A U.S. carrier responds. Chinese J-20 fighters scramble. American F-28 jets launch. Destroyers lock radar. Suddenly, the South China Sea becomes the world's least fun pool party. Nobody wants that, but everyone is preparing for it. The open-source analyst who spotted the Nimitz called this an above-average deployment. Translation: the United States is flexing harder than usual. This is not a routine patrol, it is the military version of rolling your sleeves up before a fight. CBS News reports the Indo-Pacific Command ordered the move because China is expanding operations inside Philippine waters. That is a problem because NATO is tied up in Europe, and suddenly Asia looks like it is next. Why does this matter? Because the US-China rivalry is now physical. Every inch of ocean matters. Every ship is a message. Every satellite image is a warning. China wants control. The United States wants freedom of navigation. The Philippines just wants its boats to stop getting hit by water cannons. If this escalates, the first battle of the next great conflict might not be over Taiwan. It might be here, on a reef no one outside the region cared about 10 years ago. China is already protesting US patrols, calling them provocations. The United States argues it is defending international law. Everyone claims the moral high ground while parking warships below sea level. Where does this go? There are two possibilities. First, calm posturing. Both sides stare at each other, and nothing explodes. Second, accidental escalation. A collision, a misfire, a ramming incident. One mistake, and suddenly jets are scrambling. The South China Sea is now the world's biggest game of chicken. No one wants to blink. Everyone wants to win. The question is whether the Nimitz strike group is a temporary warning or the opening move of a long-term military presence. If the United States stays, China will respond. More destroyers, more aircraft, more patrols. We could be watching the slow build-up to the conflict everyone has feared for years. What do you think? Is this just another show of force, or the beginning of the next great standoff? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for updated news from around the world.